Mayor West just cut the ribbon for Quahog's new dispensary. He announces there's plenty of weed for everyone to enjoy. Peter is surprised by all the white guys with dreadlocks. Cleveland admits this is actually a known issue among them. He steps up to personally ask one guy to leave. Later, Lois is busy putting away all her fresh groceries. Bonnie drops by to offer her some extra reusable bags. She also throws some shade about soaking cast iron pans. Meanwhile, little Stewie spots a fresh pack of Oreo cookies, but Lois quickly snatches them away, saying they're not for babies. She claims they're only meant to reward slow adults like Peter. Speaking of Peter, he walks into the kitchen with Brian. He decides to lock his weed stash safely in the cabinet. That night, Stewie Ninja rappels down from the kitchen ceiling. He breaks into the cabinet just to get his precious Oreos. But he also finds Peter's gummies and eats them like candy. Back in bed, Stewie realizes something is terribly wrong with him. His heart is racing, and he feels completely out of it. A simple kid's song suddenly sounds like a terrifying nightmare. He starts hallucinating scary monsters and a creepy dark dragon. The next day, Stewie is dropped off at his preschool. Still incredibly high, he sits on the edge of the roof. He starts talking nonsense to the other kids about taking a gap year. His teacher pulls him down, absolutely horrified by his state. At home, Peter is chilling on the couch watching TV. Officer Joe knocks on the door, holding a very stoned Stewie. Lois rushes over, shocked to see her baby with the police. Joe explains that Stewie was found completely high at school. He says it's the worst thing he's ever seen in his career. He even threatens to remove Stewie from their custody completely. Lois begs and pleads, crying to keep her baby at home. Later at dinner, the whole family is sitting together quietly. Meg casually pours coffee, offering to help make another baby. Joe tries to lighten the mood while eating with them. Peter interrupts, claiming he's basically the funny guy around here. He rambles on about sending jokes to some political satire group. Stewie just stares blankly, still recovering from his bad trip. Peter then checks a voicemail from the comedy group he applied to. They reject him, making Joe burst out laughing at his failure. The next morning, the Griffin house seems a little more peaceful. Meg is sitting on the couch, finishing an online course. She has to pass a sexual harassment test just to talk to janitors. After clicking false, she grabs her bag and actually leaves. Meanwhile, Joe hands Lois her official parenting class certificate. She is relieved, and Joe warns her to never let this happen again. Lois emotionally hugs Stewie, promising to be a better mom. Peter walks in, lazily dragging a toy to pretend he's babysitting. Lois gathers the family to lay down some strict new house rules. She declares that nobody is allowed to close their bedroom doors anymore. Chris immediately complains, but Lois refuses to back down. Peter agrees with Lois, pretending he actually learned something in class. But really, he just watched hockey fight videos the whole time. The next day, the strict environment makes everyone feel miserable. Peter is forced to sit on the couch and watch Stewie. When Lois walks in, Peter immediately hides behind the sofa. Stewie groans, saying he absolutely hates living under these tight rules. We briefly see Meg happily watching a musical in Denver. Meanwhile, Stewie sneaks into Brian's car to find an escape. He finds a fresh tin of weed gummies and pops one in. Soon, he's back on the couch, incredibly high and spaced out. Lois walks in with wine, demanding to know where Peter went. Stewie just smiles weirdly, totally unbothered by her yelling. He even imagines Bill Cosby teaching him how to drug Lois's drink. Peter returns, making up a lame excuse for leaving his post. Later that evening, the edibles finally start kicking in for Lois. She sinks into the couch, her eyes turning completely red. Stewie takes this chance to calmly tell her to buy better baby wipes. Lois looks confused, not quite understanding what is happening to her. The house is silent, but their minds are racing with thoughts. Stewie starts reciting a complex song just to prove he can talk. Lois gasps in pure amazement, realizing she can finally understand him. She asks if Peter ever heard him talk like this before. Stewie admits Peter mumbled through it, but they are communicating perfectly now. Lois admits she feels weird, and Stewie confesses he dosed them both. Instead of getting mad, Lois asks why he puts up with Peter. She says it's tough when you commit to someone so young. She tries to defend Peter, saying he used to be stunning. Stewie just shrugs, waiting for Peter to die so he can inherit money. The two of them bond, lying on the floor listening to records. They chat about Chris's weird vibe and how Lois fell down an escalator. Their munchies kick in, and they devour a whole chocolate cake. Lois brings up Brian, saying the dog truly loves Stewie. Stewie nods, but says Brian will be dead in a few years anyway. To keep the good vibes going, Stewie suggests they go out. They head to a college theater to watch The Big Lebowski. Stewie complains that the ticket girl had to make their popcorn too. Lois agrees, complaining that Bonnie is way too mean for her looks. They both laugh, fully enjoying their stoned mother-son adventure. Still starving, they head over to IHOP for a late-night meal. They sit in a booth, their eyes still bright red and heavy. Stewie tells Lois to write down their order because the waitress is incompetent. Then, things get deep. Stewie confesses he once wanted to kill her. Lois is completely stunned and asks him why he would say that. Stewie admits he hates how much of a doormat she is for everyone, but he realizes he only wanted to kill her because he is just like her. He asks if she's mad, but Lois just takes a deep breath. Stewie sips his water, waiting anxiously for her reaction. Lois says it's hard to hear, but she still loves him unconditionally. Stewie smiles, feeling a real, genuine connection with his mother. The waitress finally brings their food, totally getting the order wrong. After eating, they walk outside, happily chatting into the night. Stewie plays step on a crack, and Lois actually falls over. They laugh it off, and Lois admits she used to be fun. She tells him she wasn't always this strict, stressed-out housewife. Stewie listens closely, seeing a whole new side of his mom. She talks about playing crazy spoon games in college late at night. Stewie is amazed that Lois actually had a wild phase back then. He jokingly suggests they should prank Bonnie to get back at her. Lois gasps, saying she couldn't possibly do something so chaotic now. Later, they are back home, lying on the floor surrounded by junk. Lois asks about his Oreo tantrums, trying to understand him better. Stewie explains he only throws fits because he has no control over his life. Lois totally gets it, saying adults feel exactly the same way every day. She pulls him into a sweet, loving hug right there on the carpet. They lie together, bonding over their shared lack of control. For once, they finally understand and respect each other perfectly. The next morning, the sun rises over the quiet Griffin household. The next morning, Lois wakes up hungover in Stewie's bedroom. Peter walks in, and she admits she forgot everything completely. Stewie still hopes they're close, looking up at her happily. But Lois coldly snatches his toy, back to her old self. Heartbroken, Stewie falls to his knees and throws a massive tantrum. A retro 20th television animation logo flashes on the screen. Then a promo for American Dad pops up to end the block. The screen fades out, wrapping up this crazy Family Guy episode.